Wilhelm, I'm Research Officer with SARDI.
Hi, my name is Ross Brennan, Department of Agriculture and Food. I'm a Research Officer.
And together we've been working on two very similar projects where we've been investigating trace element deficiencies in the cropping zone of Australia. So two parallel projects in two quite different parts of Australia. So these have been doing research trials, Ross, for what, 3 years now?
The project's been going for 3 years, Nigel, yeah. We've covered about 20 odd trials in Western Australia.
Okay, we're about a similar level, and I guess our experience, Ross, is that we haven't found a lot of trace element deficiencies in the trials that we've conducted. What about you guys?
We've found some, but certainly not as much as we expected. There was a few trials where we got responses to copper and manganese, but certainly out of the 20 odd trials that we did do, there was a very small number.
Okay. So, I mean, traditionally I suppose we've used plant testing to detect and diagnose trace element deficiencies. Have you been using that in your program as well?
Yes, we have. We've used the youngest fully emerged blade as the measuring of the status of the plant. It's proved to be fairly or reasonably reliable, much more reliable than soil testing. How about your project, Nigel?
Well, I suppose, and certainly across the eastern seaboard there's been quite a bit of concern that our trace element management guidelines and that, like plant testing for instance, are based on information generated, geez, it'd be 50 years ago, some of it I suppose. So certainly concerned about whether they were still relevant. But we've been using plant testing, and I've got to say the guidelines still seem to be pretty robust and pretty relevant to current situations.
The same applies in Western Australia, Nigel. The plant testing that we have done has proved to be reliable. The experiments where we've got responses, they've always been below the critical level, and where there's been no responses, obviously higher than the critical level that we do measure in plants.
Yeah, we've certainly had a couple of curly ones, but yeah, by and large, we reckon those guidelines are pretty close to the mark. So we're still comfortable that's a good tool for farmers and advisors to use if they're concerned about trace elements. Certainly where we've used the soil testing, it's been more problematic in trying to get that predicting a problem. And you've done soil testing as well?
We did soil testing in our project, and again we came to the same conclusions. Particularly manganese is quite a useless soil test, and can be used for copper. I think it can be used for rough guidelines, but certainly not as reliable and accurate as plant testing.
Okay. And in our trials, we looked at a whole range of fertiliser or management strategies to get rid of a problem once it's there. We found, foliar sprays were pretty good, but for a long-term strategy, the soil applications we reckon are pretty effective as well. You've got lots of sands over there. Did you find the same thing?
Exactly the same, Nigel. Yes, we used foliar sprays and liquid micronutrient applications, and certainly the granular fertilisers that have been recommended for many years now have been very reliable in overcoming the deficiencies.
So do you think it'd be fair to say that there's still trace element deficiencies out there? We do run some very area fertile soils where we're cropping. Our impression is that those problems aren't any worse than what they used to be, and those guidelines developed a long time ago still seem to work, so farmers have still got those tools to sort of keep an eye on the problem.
Yeah, exactly right, Nigel. Same situation for Western Australia. Trace element deficiencies aren't as widespread as they once were, obviously, because there's been applications and repeat applications and long residual value. So it's something that farmers, primary producers, don't have to apply every 4 or 5 years.
Can't believe that WA is the same as the rest of the world.
Yes, we have some very deficient soils, Nigel, but yes, we're the same as the rest of the world.
There you go.